Well, good morning, good afternoon, good anything. Hello, we are back live in studio. It is Garden America, and somehow we are connected. The audio may be a little funky, but we are back with you as we kick things off here on Garden America. I'm Brian Main, John Bagnasco, Tiger Palafox, working around a lot that is happening in studio this morning. Thank you for hanging in there with us. Thank you to the two or three that are watching us. Hopefully we'll have a little more as we continue. I don't know, John. Tiger? Let's go to Tiger. Only because I want to give you time to get your thoughts together, John.
Good. I need to collect myself.
And you don't need that mic in front of you, by the way.
You know, it makes me feel good.
If it makes you feel good.
Comfort. It's like a pacifier.
That's fine. I get it. I would suggest maybe scooting up a little bit. I don't know, Tiger. It's just a...
Oh, would you suggest?
I
from
suggest
all your experience of
what we're doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Happy 4th of July.
Happy day after, but happy 4th because
happy
we were
5th of July.
Now, I wanted to do the show yesterday.
Yeah.
John had to
because we had the whole fireworks show and everything planned, and
John had that little soiree he went to.
Oh, what was this soiree? What was this soiree that he went to?
These are good friends of yours?
Oh, it was we went to a potluck for our Bible study group.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
So we did, grilled hamburgers and
a lot of swearing,
cheeseburgers,
kind of things.
A lot of swearing.
No, it was fun. A lot of people our own age, people in walkers, wheelchairs.
Where was it at? At one of the people's homes?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It was fun. It was good to see everybody, and was able to get home at 7:30, so it was still light.
I was just going to ask, was it one of those homes that, we have a view of the fireworks, so come here and hang out until the end of the fireworks show?
No.
It was just we're just going to hang out together, and then we're all going to disperse before fireworks even happen.
Well, I wanted to get home while it was still light because I wanted my wife to see what I had done.
Oh.
And she had... 2 years ago at Home Depot, for some reason, she bought a 5-gallon passion vine.
Okay.
Why?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Why would you buy this?
Okay.
Because she liked the flowers, right?
I mean, or the fruit, either one.
It wasn't a fruit.
Oh, okay.
It was the ornamental passion vine. And you have to admit the flowers are intriguing.
Yes.
Pretty spectacular.
I love the comments so far. Go ahead, John. This is interesting. Go ahead.
Okay, but what do you do with a 5-gallon passion vine? You have to plant it, right? Because it doesn't stay in your patio very long.
And
it's in one of those little bamboo triangle things,
gotcha.
that you can grow that vine on.
The staking system that they make into a teepee out of bamboo stakes, yes.
So we've been redoing all the planters on the back patio. And I think I had a picture last week of one of the planters we had done with the Dracaena in the plant. Anyway, all the planters have been redone, and we're pulling all the extraneous pots off the patio. And this was still there, pushed off to the end. And I said, we need to either throw that away or do something with it. And she says, well, where could we plant it?
Talk directly into the mic, John.
And I was going to say, but I was going to say the other thing that you have to have for a passion vine to plant it is somewhere to plant it that it can grow onto.
Exactly.
You can't just plant it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now that you mentioned that, it gave me an idea too. I was thinking, what about if we start putting in the newsletter the deal of the week? That something we find online that we think, hey, it's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I like it.
So I found on Gardener's Supply a half-arch trellis. Have you seen those?
No.
Okay.
Half
So
arch.
it's not a whole. It's only half a trellis.
Right. Instead of a whole arch, it's a half an arch, and it's 10 foot, a 10-foot trellis, which is pretty big, right?
Okay.
And it leans up against the house.
Oh, so like the other
bottom
half
part is like 2 to 3 feet out.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then it leans up against the house.
Oh, so it makes like a little flying buttress on your house.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, flying buttress.
I
That's
like that.
like your favorite.
I never
Brian.
thought I'd ever hear you say flying buttress, especially on the air like this.
Name drop.
So it's the reason I say deal of the week is what would you think a 10-foot trellis would cost?
Oh, easily like a couple $100.
Yeah. This was $50.
What?
It's on sale right now if you go to Gardner Supply. Not advertisers, by the way. We're
Yeah.
just mentioning that I found this online.
Yeah.
If you have problems with them, go to them directly.
Yeah.
But it was
don't email me.
It's a trellis that you put together.
Wooden? Metal?
I don't know if it's metal or heavy-duty plastic.
Oh, okay.
I'm hoping it's plastic.
Gotcha.
Because metal deteriorates, right?
Yeah.
Especially that Chinese metal. So everything snaps together, right?
Yeah.
Am I not supposed to disparage
No, I mean,
Chinese
yeah.
metal?
Brian and I just made eye contact.
We're just we do googly eyes to each other during the show.
Well, that's understandable. So everything snaps together, and it just leans up against the house.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I planted this at the base, and
Now wait a minute. Base of
the trellis.
So the base of the trellis. So now this vine is going to grow
As a
towards.
matter of fact,
It's going to go towards your house.
Yeah, I think I have a picture of
And-
it. There you go.
Oh, look at that!
You actually took a picture of it?
Now,
Yeah.
I'm also
Look at
judging
you.
I'm judging the growth of the 2-year-old passion vine, though.
Well, I had to cut it off.
Let's see what that looks like. Let me see that. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Looks kind of
My
fancy.
daughter's
Let's see.
coming out in August, middle of August.
She's going to bring another half?
No, I think by the time she gets here, that it'll probably be at least halfway up the trellis, if not completely.
You know, I
they grow
love
fast.
trellis. I
Yeah.
love
Passion vines
trellis.
grow so fast.
You didn't know this. I'm a big trellis guy.
So-
I
trellis.
imagine you would be a big trellis.
I do
guy.
like trellis. In fact, well, if things were different at home right now, with the construction going on and getting all that situated, because we can't put the pavers in until that's done in
Yeah.
the patio, there's a place I'd like to have a trellis
Nice.
set up.
What would you grow on it?
Oh, everything.
Well, you could
Color.
really only pick one.
Color.
Is there a multicolored
Yeah.
vine besides like a bougainvillea?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
I get you. Exactly.
Is there a plant?
Joseph's Coat
Rose,
right?
Orange and red and yellow, right?
Oh, that'd be
Is
great.
that what the
Yeah.
colors are?
Yeah.
You just have to have that mic in front of. We should explain to people that we're not using our mics today because we're using the camera mics because we solved one technical problem.
We think.
We think, and then something else crept up. But we were so passionate about getting on the air this morning, not to let you down.
Right.
So I keep teasing John. So
By the way, I
enough of that.
want to elaborate a little bit on the trellis that I bought. It's very lightweight, so I would not, because we just mentioned a Joseph's Coat rose. I would not put a climbing rose on
A
there.
wisteria.
Yeah, I think it would
Really
be
too heavy for
too
that.
heavy for that.
Okay.
But passion vine's very light. Clematis would be perfect
Oh yeah.
if you wanted to grow clematis on there. But again, the cool thing about it is it just leans up against the home, your house, so you don't have to pound anything into the wall.
Yeah. And
How about that?
so
Yeah.
what are you going to do under it? Because
Well-
now it's leaning up against the house. This vine is going to grow on the outer shell of it, which means it's going to have this little secret. Are you going to put a fairy garden in there, John? Are you?
That's kind of personal.
Yeah, he said my name first. He corrected himself.
Yeah.
John.
No, I don't know what I'm going to do back there. You know where it is? It's the area where I asked you to get me 2 5-gallon
Icy blues.
icy blue podocarpus.
That's what it looked like. Yeah.
So I still think I set it off to the left is the outdoor tankless water heater. So I want to still put an icy blue there,
Got it.
so it'll cover the water
Water
heater. And then I think I might put one on the other side too.
I'm
but
glad you got specific on your water heater.
Yeah, tankless.
Yeah, outside of the tankless water heater, not just the water heater.
Well,
I
because
think
it
it's-
hangs on the wall outside.
Yeah, I think it's logical because if everybody,
Sure.
Right.
Can you imagine if everybody's like, John's water heater is just outside his house like that? That'd be weird.
By the way, Joyce, you know, I don't know. I'm not sure how old you are, Joyce, but she said something that I identify with so much. As I get older, these things happen to me all the time. And she said that she came home from her walk yesterday. She went to Facebook to listen to the show, and it took her 5 minutes to realize it was Friday.
That's great. I thought yesterday was Saturday all day.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it seemed like it, you know.
Right?
a holiday.
I just explained I planted this vine yesterday morning, right? And our potluck was at 3 o'clock. So at 2:15, our guests, the home we went to, they were supplying the hamburgers, right?
Sure.
So everybody else brought something. Shannon was bringing deviled eggs. So 2:15, I come in, she's watching TV. I sit on the chair and I say, "How did the deviled eggs turn out?" She goes, "Oh, I forgot."
I forgot to make them.
So she had 15 minutes to make deviled eggs.
We're going to take a break. Our first break of the show this week. Thank you for joining us. We are Garden America. I'm Brian Main, John Bagnasco, Tiger Palafox, and a thank you, a special thank you, of course, to Biz Talk Radio, because these messages on Biz Talk Radio are for you. Stay with us. All right, we are back. Hope you enjoyed that break. Thank you to Biz Talk Radio for putting us on the air nationally every week, and those of you on Facebook Live catching up, watching us, we do appreciate it. Questions, comments, no guest this week. We are lining one up, though, for the next couple of weeks or so stick around for that. John and his deviled egg story. You know, I think it's interesting, deviled eggs and a Bible study. Does that go together?
You know, I was wondering. Well, I wondered the same thing. You and I always think alike, right? And I was wondering if there's if deviled means something other than Satan.
Yeah.
You know, if it's an English word for processing something.
Devil's food cake.
So did you look it up?
No,
so it's still a wonder.
It's still a wonder. Somebody out there can look it up and find out where did deviled.
Deviled eggs.
You deviled them. Something about the ingredients.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Fortunately, my wife had hard-boiled the eggs the day before, and they were sitting in the refrigerator, so it didn't take long.
By the way, we're not quite done with the eggs that you gave us.
Really?
But we're almost. Yeah, they're so good. They were little ones this time.
Yeah. I know.
So we had, I think, 4 apiece. 3 or 4.
I did that on purpose because we have different size eggs, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we had some of the bigger ones, but I thought, you know, this just doesn't look right. Yeah. They don't match.
If you mix the big ones with the little ones,
I only had enough little ones to fill the carton, so I gave you all little ones.
They're so good, though.
So he graded them like they do at the grocery store.
Yeah.
You know, the A, double A.
But we get a better price.
Yeah.
Much better price.
Oh, that's funny.
I want to thank Carla for the encouragement. She reads our newsletter.
She's very encouraging.
Whenever I do the newsletter, I'm thinking, what would Carla think of this?
Perfect.
Right, yeah.
But she said, congratulations for the wonderful newsletter, John. I enjoyed the honor you paid to our founding fathers and their love for gardening. Thank you for honoring these men we owe so much to.
I noticed that picture.
It was a patriotic theme to
Washington
the
and Jefferson in the garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the look on Washington's face, like, make sure you do that right. I'm one of the founding fathers as well, my friend.
Well, you know, the quote of the week, which we've not done yet, Brian, was from Thomas Jefferson. And he said that no occupation is so delightful to me as the culture of the earth.
Now, do we know that he really said that?
Yeah, it's on tape.
Oh, okay, good. We have his voice. We have him saying that.
So it's funny that comes up today because last night we had some friends over. We were all just hanging out, having conversation. The kids
Eating
were
deviled
playing.
eggs?
No, we didn't have deviled eggs last night,
right.
but lots of other stuff. And one of the things that's Janine has been a teacher her whole life, her whole career, and she taught 4th grade, middle school, and now she's in high school. And in the 4th grade, at some point in time, she did a project where, she asked the kids, what do they want to be when they grow up? And in 4th grade, doctor, lawyer,
astronaut,
professional baseball player, whatever it is, right? And she had this very intelligent girl in her class. And she said, my career doesn't exist yet. So that's always stuck with me. Like, that's a very mature thing to say. Like, I'm going to be...
a smart way to get out of answering, too.
No, but it came from a very intelligent girl from the standpoint of she truly did feel like, I'm going to be so on the cutting edge of either technology or life that the career I'm going to have doesn't exist yet. Okay? And that's always stuck with me.
And the way
because-
technology is today, that holds water very well.
very well,
Yeah.
right? And so somehow that came up in conversation last night. So we're all sitting around and we're like, this was, I don't know, 20 years ago. Like, we should like look her up.
Oh gosh, right.
So we looked her up, and she's studying. She's got her PhD in biology, and she's studying like ecology, biodiversity, and all this other stuff. And the thing that she is studying and doing her like big
thesis or whatever yeah.
is seed dispersal and how it affects the ecology. And anyways, like, it's this whole position on nature and our environment and how the environment interacts with other environments. And so, I mean, it's kind of neat because she still is in that whole like my job doesn't exist yet thing, but she went back to nature. And kind of like, the Jefferson quote right now where, there's no greater career than working with nature.
When a fourth grader says something like that, you don't really want to play with the other kids, do you?
Other kids don't want to play with you.
Well, yeah, but when you
Oh.
look back at grade school, and there was always maybe one or two that like you're different.
Yeah,
you're probably are going to do something different. I remember in grade school there was 3 classes for every grade, the regular. And then, okay, you're pretty
They actually
smart.
split you up into the 3. They didn't evenly distribute the 3. It's
no.
like you were in the high or you were in the low.
You were in like the regular, or like, okay.
Yeah, we had that too.
You're
We had
Really?
different reading groups.
Then there was the, like, you're probably going to go to the moon someday. And there was like 12 kids. And they were like, Mr. Broswich, I'll never forget the name. He taught
that class.
these kids. And they were,
Yeah.
I mean, we interacted with them, but we all knew they were a little different.
They kept you away from those kids.
It was interesting.
They didn't want you to rub off on them.
But and then Mr. Broswich taught sex ed in 6th grade, and this guy was a big, intimidating man. And if you did anything wrong or said something, man, you thought, I'm dying. He's going to kill me. He had a temper. But he taught these kids, and it was like I thought back, like we just thought nobody was like, "Oh, I should be in that class," or just the way it was. Now I don't know if they still do that.
No, I think they make every class even.
Really?
Yeah.
But that was to teach people. I know why they did it, because you're teaching somebody on the level that they can learn and understand.
Yeah,
you don't
for
want to
sure.
slow them down,
Right.
because you would be.
That is a problem with some classrooms today, is that when you have a low kid in a class and you have a high kid in a class, the teacher has to meet in the middle there, and you're either passing by this child or holding this child back. Yeah. But I love how you knew, though.
Oh yeah,
like you knew as a child, like I'm not.
As
I'm
a
not
matter of
in
fact,
the good class.
a very good friend of mine, Gary Rubin. Gary was always short, and in fact, I just saw him at our high school reunion recently.
Still short?
Yeah, of course he. Yeah, but like, Gary was smart, but he hung out with us. So at our 20th reunion, so Gary, what's going on? This is before Facebook. How you doing? He goes, I'm gonna retire from NASA.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? Yeah, I've been working on all these projects.
Rockets.
I'm like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense, in 3rd, 4th grade.
Yeah.
This is off the gardening topic, but I was thinking of Tiger this week because
you so often do during the week.
I always think of you guys, especially when I'm doing the cartoons for the newsletter.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was thinking of Tiger because I was reading the salaries of lifeguards in Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, yeah.
$300,000 a year.
Yeah.
What?
Is what a
For
lifeguard makes.
Well, like a captain.
No, well, yeah, but the average one makes $200,000, and the lowest paid one is $100,000.
Yep.
Okay, so
that makes no sense to me.
Well, when you're drowning, it does.
Well, yeah, but this is my point. How many? And I'm sure there's statistics. How many times during the day, week, or month is somebody being saved?
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, but
it's a lot.
A policeman doesn't make $200,000 a year, does he?
No.
He's going to save more people than a lifeguard is.
Mm.
Yeah, that's interesting. Dana was a lifeguard.
Mm-hmm. At the beach?
How do you
A
think
pool.
she
It
caught
was
Brian?
I think it
Pool.
was a pool. Yeah, she
Yeah.
was yeah.
Lifeguarding at the beach is different than lifeguarding at the
Oh,
pool.
absolutely. Yeah,
You've done both, right?
Yeah.
you don't
Yeah.
have riptides in pools.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
Or seaweed.
And I'm not trying to, but.
No, I get you. I understand. Yeah.
But I will say the
we
one thing.
we're coming up on a break.
Okay. That lifeguards, like, they work a lot of overtime usually because they
Now
just
there's
don't.
no taxes on overtime.
Yeah.
Okay, so we went from
right.
Jefferson to
Got to get
kids in
back to
school.
gardening when
Yeah.
after
Well,
the
we
break.
always come full circle. We're going to take a break. It's Garden America. This break is for our good friends on Biz Talk Radio. Stay with us.
You forgot to turn us on.
I forgot to turn this on.
Wow, that was a great segment.
Yeah.
All that information.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we're good. Now you can hear us. We're just testing. We have to test sometimes our viewers and listeners to see if they're paying attention. And okay, you're paying attention. Thank you very much.
Don't we need
A sign language.
I feel like we need a producer. Like, why? Dana could hitch a ride with you to come in here.
Here's the deal. Tiger's doing one more thing that he doesn't normally do that I
Yeah.
used to do.
Yeah.
So we've given him more responsibility. So I'm going to give him a break. I know what it's
At
like
one time.
to be in this situation.
And
So-
let's be fair, I have no idea what you guys are doing.
Well, you sit there and look pretty. That's how you got the job.
I have no idea. I have Tiger check the batteries to make sure that they're fresh. And
You need to restart the clock though. So from like 30 seconds ago, because the audio is going to be.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
You're gonna get us longer today.
I will.
I don't know. No, the listeners and viewers. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's a good thing. Now, getting back to John doing nothing, that's not true. Basically, when we started the show, a lot of people interviewed for it, and John came with a great resume. But they weren't really impressed. They were impressed by his looks.
Yeah.
They said, "Well, this guy over here, he knows a lot more than John. But look at that guy."
Yeah.
And Carla, by the way, said that she hoped that that we saw her lifeguard comment. She didn't hear my apology, so
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we see the comments. Trust
yeah,
us.
Yeah, that whole segment that we were turned off, Carla, we were talking about. I was basically apologizing, and we were talking about how information you hear on the news isn't always correct, and AI and all that. So I'm waiting for an apology accepted.
Apology accepted. Yeah, that's
Paul.
another joke.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, so we are kind of stumbling through this today, but we're there. The thing is,
Did we start off this spot with the Color Bowl talk? Was that last spot?
Color Bowl.
Yeah, we were talking about the 4th of July,
Right,
Color Bowls.
Color Bowls.
I think that's how we
That-
started.
That was the last one.
Was it?
Yeah, because
Oh, okay.
I have an update on my vegetable garden.
Are things still there?
Things are still there.
Excellent.
The second bed, though, I have not put a fence on, and the only thing that's come up are the cucumbers. I planted some bush cucumbers, so we'll see what those do.
And they're
But
still
in the
there.
first one, my wife gave me a challenge and said, I want a pretty vegetable garden.
Okay.
So it actually, I think, looks pretty. But, now we're ready to harvest this coming week. She can harvest lettuce if she wants, which is going to destroy some of the
Look of the vegetable
look of the garden. Yeah.
yeah, but it goes right back to where
But
it
the
was before.
tomatoes, tomatoes I planted late, but I now have tomatoes. I have Roma, Sun Sugar, and Early Girl, and they all have tomatoes on
All right,
them.
you have to bring a Sun Sugar to the station
And how much
in a couple of weeks.
salad are you going to eat that she has to harvest the lettuce? Like, meaning, like, is this just for you two? Because I feel like she could probably just go through and pick off a bunch of leaves.
Yeah, as you go without
and make
destroying
a
the
good
look.
salad without, like,
Well,
upending a
they're
whole
laid
lettuce.
out in the garden as individual heads,
Right.
so I think she'll probably want to cut one.
Right.
But
then that's going to ruin the look.
Yeah.
She can't just pull like 4 leaves from. You have like 4 or
From
5 of
different
them.
plants.
You have like 4 or 5 of them in there, don't you?
I think there's about a dozen.
Yeah. Why? If she pulled 1 leaf from each one,
He's right.
then because I mean, if you pull one right now, that means you still have 11 more.
Right.
Are you going to eat 11 more in the next?
Or do you stick the lettuce in the refrigerator, cover it up, and keep it that way for a week or two, and then let it grow again out there?
I don't like putting lettuce in the fridge.
I don't
If I have a lettuce plant, I leave it in the garden and I will pick off leaves and
Really?
make lettuce at that time.
Hey, so speaking of that, how are you protecting it, John, that you've had such good luck so far?
Snipers.
Yeah, right?
Oh, we
got a
when we
little
got
turret.
home yesterday, my wife goes, "Oh, look, there's a bunny in the driveway."
Yeah, the one you ran over, right?
I've never had a gun
What?
my whole life, but I would like some type of gun, a BB gun or something.
How about a squirt
Well,
gun?
well,
That's a
you-
little more. People will accept a squirt gun. You're
You
not
can't hurt a rabbit with a squirt gun.
You're not. You know, but you want him to go away.
Yeah, but that's not even going to make
You're
going
gonna
to
kill. You're gonna kill a rabbit with a BB
These
gun.
are
really.
These are fall book rabbits. They love water squirting
Well, it's
on
either
them.
that or poison them,
Wow.
and
What
they
was-
die a slow death.
What was the guy from was Peter Cottontail the one that would? And then what was the farmer's name? The gardener?
Oh my
Remember?
gosh.
And
Right.
that's John. That's John. Like that's Peter. You know that knows John.
Cottontail.
You know, out there in the driveway and waiting for John to show up. And then the farmer guy is John.
I might get a have a heart trap. And
There you go.
See if I can relocate 'em.
Sure.
When I lived in my old house on Pepper Tree, I think I told you that one year I trapped 30 rabbits and then relocated them.
Yeah, you relocated him unknowingly to your house where you live now.
It wasn't too far away from where I live now.
It's so funny. It's so true.
So how are you protecting your?
Chicken wire.
Just chicken?
Tiger gave me a
Yeah.
roll of chicken wire that he had in
How far down did you
his
dig?
truck.
No,
I
it's-
didn't dig down at all.
Really?
Yeah.
He's got a
Raised
6-inch. He's got a 6-inch block of wood.
Okay, got it.
So they'd have to dig under that, which
Okay.
they could. But then he put the chicken wire is only 2 feet tall. Which did you put it on top of the 6-inch or did you put it inside the 6-inch?
I put it. I got the metal stakes and I pounded those inside the wood, and
Okay.
then just ran the chicken wire
So
around.
the fence is about 2.5 feet tall,
Yeah.
which nothing's jumping in, which is awesome.
So far,
Which
so
is
far
awesome
they're
because
not
normally
great.
they say to do about 3 feet.
Yeah.
Right.
You have coyote. You must have coyotes in the area, right?
Coyotes don't like lettuce.
But no, I'm talking about for the critters that you have around, for the rabbits and everything else. No.
Oh,
Yeah, the coyotes, they're well fed. I
Yeah.
feel.
Okay. All right.
that's the thing, right? Like, I mean, they always talk about that balance of predator
Yeah, sure.
and whatnot,
Right.
but I feel like there's a lot more of that lower on the food chain animals out there than the upper.
Yeah, but
food
I
chain
guess what I'm
animal.
trying to say is the coyotes are they helping you at all in terms of keeping some of those critters away by
So,
eating them?
I
mean,
think
are they-
coyotes are naturally scavengers, meaning
Right.
they're looking for already
yeah, but
dead
they will
things.
kill. They will kill though. They will kill.
Oh,
You know,
like cats and puppies.
you've been
They
living
do.
on like Nat Geo where the people are on the savannah
No,
and they
they've
see
done-
the tiger.
They've done it
like,
in our area. They've done it in our area. They've attacked.
Do you remember the old Disney movies like Sancho the Homing Steer?
What?
There was
Here,
something.
I think he's going to go with Old Yeller, and I can follow. Wait,
Sancho the homing steer.
Yeah.
I've never
And
heard.
then there was a coyote one. Something the coyote. By the way, Carlos said Tiger that it was Farmer McGregor.
McGregor. It was
McGregor,
McGregor.
right.
Yes.
Sancho.
The homing steer. What is a homing steer?
You have to watch the movie.
I've never heard of that. Really?
There used to be those Disney specials. They were always about
They
one
weren't that
animal.
special.
They were like they had a theme or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it would be.
All right, let's ask our Facebook viewers and listeners. Say
You ever
what,
seen-
what is it, John?
Has anyone ever seen Sancho the Homing Steer?
Sancho the homing steer.
Now, this
Okay.
is a memory from 70 years ago.
So is
Wow.
this the cause and effect you were going through?
Well, the thing is, it's locked in my brain somewhere, but it could be totally wrong. I don't know if that was true. As a 5-year-old boy, I remember Sancho for sure.
Okay.
Whether the homing steer meant anything or not, I don't know.
Well, we got distracted with Sancho the homing steer, but what was the theme of? You said remember when Disney had the movies?
Because we started talking about animals.
Well,
Yeah,
he was
we were
talking
talking about
about
animals, yeah.
coyotes.
Coyotes,
and there
yeah.
was one about a coyote, too. And it was
the only famous coyote I know is Wile
Wiley.
Coyote.
Sancho.
And
It might be the wayward coyote.
wayward.
But anyway, there were those types of titles, and they would always feature one animal, and you always felt, you always supported the animal no matter what he did. So like the coyote, you wanted to make sure that the farmers didn't shoot him.
Yeah.
What about?
You don't even know what I'm talking about, do you?
I'm just looking. I'm just looking right into your soul, and I still can't figure it out. So, did you on Coyote Roadrunner? Did you root for the coyote or the Roadrunner?
My daughter-in-law and
It's like
son.
a politician.
Yeah.
It's like talking to a
Completely
politician.
skating.
You plan on lowering taxes?
My son and daughter-in-law just got a new puppy, a German Shepherd, and his name is Wiley,
Oh,
but not Wiley.
Wile E.
Wiley.
But that's the coyote. That's his name.
Right.
Wile E. Coyote.
Well, I thought it was Wiley.
No, it's Wile
it's Wile
E.
E.
Is it
Coyote.
really?
Uh huh. So they're pretty smart. They knew what they were doing when they named him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wile E. Coyote, which is a takeoff on Wiley, like you, Wile E. Coyote.
And they always got everything from
Acme.
Acme, which is like buying from Temu.
Yeah. I love it.
Wow.
Was Acme a real company?
No.
There's actually Acme companies. If you
Well, I'm
Right.
sure there are now, but back in the day when that was the popular brand.
kind of a generic,
yeah, it was a generic term.
yeah, kind of
For
a tongue
any
in cheek.
company, it would be the Acme.
Yeah, like if,
Acme fertilizer company.
like let's say you
yeah.
bought a product that didn't work. Where'd you get it from? Acme.
Yeah.
The Acme product.
Gotcha.
Okay, we're going to take a break. I guess we're on time. That's going to be up to Daniel to make sure our segments line up with the network. So thank you, Daniel, our maestro of the internet and digital sound and digital audio. We're going to take a break. For those on Biz Talk Radio, we have one more segment if you're keeping track of things for hour number one. So do stay with us as we do take a break for Biz Talk Radio. Back after. Hey, we're back from the break. Thank you to Biz Talk Radio. Thank you to Stephanie and her crew for doing a great job, because sometimes they have to play reruns for various reasons, and they're always right on top of things. So thank you, Biz Talk Radio. We are back. If you're on listening, I should say if you're listening to and on Biz Talk Radio, final segment of hour number one, which means news comes up top of the hour. We come back at 6 minutes after for all kinds of fun things. Hour number two on Biz Talk Radio. Facebook Live, we just keep floating along. And, Tiger and I making fun of John and his recollection of Sancho. And so John goes to the internet. And what did you find, John?
It's there. And it wasn't that old. It was 1962.
Really?
Yeah.
Sancho, 62. Okay, so there is Sancho in the homing pigeon?
The homing steer.
The homing steer. Now we get Tiger looking it up as well.
I don't believe you. It's fake.
Okay, here's the other one that I was referring to. Came out before Sancho the homing steer. It was Chico, the misunderstood coyote.
Chico, the
Yeah.
misunderstood.
Right.
Oh.
I seem to recollect that more than Sancho or Sanchez.
I wonder why all the animal names were Mexican.
That's true, huh?
Yeah.
Back then.
It is.
Carla remembers Ferdinand the Bull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good one. And there was one with a whale, an operatic whale. Do you remember that one? He would
don't.
sing opera. That was one of my favorite. I really like that one.
What about Speedy Gonzales? The most popular, I would imagine.
He was a mouse, right?
Yeah.
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 Bugs Bunny, Foghorn Leghorn.
So,
But none of them gardened, as far as I know.
I had this question that came up right now in my head to bring us back onto gardening, because I knew we were going to go off topic.
We always drift.
But John, made me think of it because he was at a friend's house for the barbecue, and then you mentioned the color bowls.
Right.
Okay, Brian, if you were to go to someone's house, and I know that the situation can lean towards different options, but if you were to go to someone's house for a dinner party, and you were to bring them something that would be of a plant nature, are you going to bring them a house plant, an orchid,
Cut flowers,
or are you going to bring them like a vegetable like plant or
Lemons.
bush or something? Like what would you?
I think without give it more thought, but off the top of my head, something that would last.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a plant that would take very little care, that would grow indoors.
Yeah.
He wants you to be specific so he knows whether or not to invite you and Dana over.
To see if I bring him something.
Well, it started making me think.
But that's a good question.
I want to start to be a person who is known for bringing over something. You know what I mean?
Where they go, wow,
Yeah,
I didn't expect this.
I was doing cut roses for a while, sticking them in a vase.
Perfect sense.
Cutting them, in my garden.
And it lasted a week or so, right? A couple of weeks, maybe.
Yeah. But it was just something from the garden, since it's something.
I'd like a plant of some kind that would last for a while.
Yeah. Like I think, because you don't want to make it hard on them. Like, meaning, like,
exactly.
You don't want to give them something super difficult.
How do I take care of this?
Like, you don't want to give them a guinea pig.
Right? Yes, definitely.
No, wait a minute. Hold on.
And you don't want to bring them your rabbits.
Right.
I just caught this rabbit for you. Right. Here you go.
Still in the cage.
Oh, speaking of that, John,
exactly.
last year, and again, it gets all cloudy. You gave Tiger and I 2 roses each.
Right.
And said, I don't know, good luck, or whatever.
Yeah, one was Marina, the orange one.
Yep.
Tiger's is still alive.
What was the other one? Because I had one bloom in my patio that was like
it was the one
it
he
was
started
red.
from
It was like
seed.
a red.
He started from seed.
Anyway, I should have taken a picture because I cut it off, brought it in the house. It lasted about 4 or 5 days indoors. It was beautiful. And I went, oh, yeah, that's from the one that John...
Red.
Kind of a reddish, but as it...
It was orange.
All right.
You're a little colorblind.
No, it's more actually... It had kind of a pinkish hue. There were hues. It was a hue.
I don't know. I would...
If it blooms again, I will show you.
All right.
Because normally I take a picture.
Marina was about as orange as you can get, Tiger?
Yeah, this wasn't it. Yeah, this wasn't
it. It was a deep orange as opposed to orange juice, which is...
Orange. It's orange.
Right.
Like you would see orange juice.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, did it have a lot of pulp? Was there heavy pulp or medium?
It was a medium pulp.
Medium pulp.
Yeah.
You know what's funny, speaking of that? Because that's how you think when you buy orange juice. We bought one that said some pulp. Some? What does that mean? Man,
They even sell high pulp.
They said
there's people out there in the world that want more pulp.
No, I like pulp, and I understand high pulp, medium pulp, but just some sounds like, there's some in there. We're not sure exactly how much. There's some. We're not going to get specific. There's some pulp.
You're one of those weirdos that buys the high pulp?
We love it.
Yeah.
I love the pulp. I didn't used to. Danny got me on it. It's one of those things I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah. And I started drinking. I went, I kind of like this.
You know what?
But I understand what you're saying.
That kind of makes sense because then there's those boba teas that have those like balls in them and stuff. Yeah. And people like that. Like having something.
Like little tapioca balls.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, not as fan.
Yeah, I kind of got into the pulp thing.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction was one of your favorite movies, right?
And I don't mean to get on my pulpit and tell you about it, but I guess I did.
Carla reminded me of another one that I remember from my childhood, Lambert the Sheepish Lion.
I remember that one.
Do you?
Do you really?
Yeah.
How about Lippy the Lion and Hardy Har Har?
What? Why do you take things so aggressively out of
Lippy the Lion and Hardy Har Har. When I was a kid, we got cable TV before it was a big deal, and I was able to get LA cartoons, watch a lot of LA TV stations. And they were playing all these cartoons I'd never seen before.
My goodness.
Touche Turtle.
Paula and Fallbrook gave a bouquet of Mexican sunflowers.
Ooh, that could, you know what? That could either make a friendship or break a friendship, right?
Why is that?
Well, Tagetti. Some people hate the smell of Tagetti. That's Mexican sunflower,
That's
right?
Mexican marigolds.
Oh. What's the Mexican sunflower then?
Isn't it Tithonia?
I don't know. Tithonia?
Yeah, Tithonia.
Trying to think of what a Mexican... Is that one of the California native ones? And it's kind of a gangly looking yellow...
Kind of gangly, but wouldn't they call it a California sunflower?
Well, that's what
rather than a Mexican sunflower?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just coming to my mind.
Mexican sunflower plant.
Did you
I'm looking at it.
Look up Tithonia?
Tithonia. Oh, those are pretty.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's a... No, that's not a California native.
No.
It looks like a zinnia.
Yeah, it does kind of.
Tithonia.
That would be pretty to get. I think you would make friends with that.
Yeah.
The Tagetti one, some people might not like you. That'd be like giving someone cilantro, and it's one of those people that it tastes like soap to them.
How about bathroom freshener?
Well, you shouldn't be eating the bouquet.
Well, but I'm saying giving it to them in like inserts and like, here, use all these herbs that I picked for my garden.
Mexican marigolds, by the way, have they started blooming yet? That's the one thing that come fall, they're in full color.
Yeah, they look beautiful.
They're spectacular.
Well, I mean, all those like salvia, Mexican sunflower, those plants all kind of have their regeneration come through at that time, and they look pretty after a dry, hot summer.
We're close enough to a break, but this has been a long first hour for Biz Talk Radio. It just seems like it took a long time to go through 4 segments. That's all. Because we had to restart.
It's because I didn't have the audio on
We restarted.
for half of the time.
We're going to take a break for news on Biz Talk Radio. We come back at 6 minutes after. Facebook Live, stay right here because we're going to be coming right back. Thank you for tuning in. It's Garden America. Brian Main, John Bagnasco, Tiger Palafox. As we continue on Garden America, happy weekend to you.